All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm sure you've missed us, but judging by the downloads, you haven't. But regardless, we're going to keep bringing it to you. We are back here for the 30 Minutes or Less podcast. We're up to episode 9, and it may not seem like it. I know we've been gone a long time, but we've all been kind of pursuing our own interests. I've been on vacation. Everybody's kind of had their own thing, but we have had a lot of stuff happen since we've been gone, and we're going to try to get to it here within 30 minutes or less, like the title says. So I know all of us had a chance to check out Survivor Series this past Sunday from WWE. Overall, a really good pay-per-view. One of the better ones, in my opinion, over the last several months. What do you guys think?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't there to watch it with you guys because of some crossed wires.
Some crossed wires and technical difficulties kind of prevented the whole group from getting together, but that's the beauty of the WWE Network, right? And
yeah,
watch
so
it anywhere.
it's not like the old days of, the box.
Yes.
Did you watch, the pre-show matches, too?
We did not. I did not get to see the Enzo match.
There were 3 pre-show matches, actually.
I think
I thought there was only going to be 1, but then they had 3.
We came in at the end of the Owens and Zayn versus whoever.
Breezango, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I really hate that they keep some of those guys off the card like that. I mean, I get the storyline they're doing with Owens and Zayn, but there's no reason they shouldn't have been on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, but see, they have to promote the network for 5 minutes at a time, so
right,
they can't
do
it.
The show started, I think, at 5. And
the kickoff was at 5.
Yeah, the pay-per-view started at 7. I didn't realize it was a 4-hour show. But this has been the first 4-hour show that they've done that halfway through I wasn't, kind of ready to call it a day. I enjoyed it over the ending, and I think we've all kind of agreed.
The ending was meh. It was like a Stephen King ending. No, I'm just kidding. I knew. I just had to take a shot at you guys, but
piss off half the round table.
but no, it was just not very good.
See, the thing is, whenever Triple H is in a match, he's got to get his, and everybody else is screwed, basically.
There's a lot of ways they could have went with that. And ever since they started this angle with Jason Jordan, I read somewhere that the initial, one of the ideas was to eventually have him turn on Kurt Angle. And, I mean, they could have set this up here. They could have had him turn and go with Triple H, or they, even could have had Angle turn, because they're also supposedly building up for a Kurt Angle Triple H match at some point, I've heard.
So that's why I thought, Angle was going to cost Triple H the match.
Yeah,
or at least at least get him eliminated.
I mean, a lot of ways they could have went with this, but they...
kind of surprised Cena went out as early as he did in that match.
This is what I think that because he's making that Bumblebee movie.
Oh.
And they don't want him to get hurt, so they're like, we'll have Cena there. That'll probably get a few more people to tune in. But if you notice, he didn't take a lot of big bumps, didn't do any big moves.
Yeah, they're kind of protecting Cena, you can tell.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But that's how Bumblebee got destroyed in the Power Rangers movie.
He did, but yet somehow he was back for the last night. I don't understand.
Right.
Alternate universes.
So I didn't see the new Transformers movie, but I'm going to pretty much guarantee the Power Rangers movie was better. Not biased in my opinion at all.
It was all right. It just seemed really long. And I think I can finally go where you've been ever since the third Transformers. I'm kind of transformed out.
You were like that before the third Transformers, weren't you, Jason?
I got through, the second one was overly long.
Right.
So, but I did see the third one to, finish up the first arc.
I didn't like how they lightened up the second one from the first one. The second one seemed a lot later than the first one.
And it was just... I think it might have been close to 2.5 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, it was okay. In movie news, we're talking about movie and wrestling. I just heard they're apparently still going to keep milking the Marine franchise. This is the reason. Apparently,
how are they milking it? I didn't think they made any money off the first one.
Well, they're still okay. Fine, they're not milking. They're still trying.
Although they did get my money because I went and saw the Marine in theaters when it came out.
Is this the sixth movie that they're
Marine
going to make?
6 is starts filming, I believe, within the next couple of weeks. If anybody caught Raw, apparently that's the reason why The Miz dropped the IC title to Roman Reigns last night. Apparently this one's got, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, but The Miz is supposed to be in it, Becky Lynch, and somebody else, but I can't remember. I saw a quick blurb about it today while I was on the go, so I didn't get to read the article.
What's up with the WWE always just surrendering the Intercontinental and U.S. Championship to former world champions? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. In all honesty, people have their issues with Roman Reigns, but I don't picture him as an IC champion.
I think right now they're trying to do anything and everything to get Roman Reigns over.
See, the thing is with Raw, the Intercontinental title is the title because Brock Lesnar doesn't really show up at all. So you have to have a individual championship that is fought like
exactly.
They need a television title.
They have to defend,
what they need.
They have to defend something, and we don't have enough time. It would take me 2 to 3 podcasts to get into my problems with Brock Lesnar. Nothing wrong with his ability and his talent. I don't get the hype.
But I get what you're saying, Kevin. These titles should be used to elevate upcoming talent.
Right, not to give larger talent. Put the world strap on them.
Right.
Put the universal strap on them. You know what I mean? Like, although it is kind of nice not having that belt switch back and forth every other week.
Although I'll be honest, I mean, it's supposed to enhance. I don't see why The Miz had it. I think The Miz has kind of stood on his own. I've never been the biggest Miz fan, but I mean, he's ran with it, and he's ran well with it, in my opinion, but
yeah,
I never understood why he had to have it anyway. You put that on a guy like a Curtis Axel or somebody that could really be pushed.
Yeah, well, they did do.
Oh, they tried
it with Curtis Axel, and look what happened with that.
Yeah, true, they did try. But did y'all see they were using a former WCW? You mentioned the TV title, it made me think of it. The next SmackDown pay-per-view is going to be Clash of Champions.
Bless you, thank you.
I was going to say you're so good looking, actually.
Thank you.
But Clash of Champions is the next SmackDown brand, and world title match: AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal in rematch for the title. AJ all the way, unless they're going to try and resell Jinder Mahal.
There's no way.
The hell with
no
Jinder
way
Mahal.
Going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Jinder Mahal fan, and it's obvious. I mean, they've been wanting to crack into the India market for a long time. I mean, they were trying to do it with the Great Khali, and now with Jinder Mahal. So, and I think they're going to be in India in December. So,
I mean, as far as his title run went, it wasn't terrible. He did a decent job with it, but the only problem was he had these 2 goons with him.
The Bollywood boys.
See, that's the guy you strap with the Intercontinental title. You somebody like him. When what's his name, Rusev had the U.S. title. That is somebody I picture being a U.S. champion.
Yeah, that worked.
Well, they do have Baron Corbin as the U.S. champion.
I don't like Baron.
And a lot of people don't, but.
No,
he's
but
more of a guy.
That's more of a guy you would, expect to have that kind of title.
Well, what gets me, Jinder Mahal was with them a few years ago, got released, kind of just made it onto the Raw roster when they did the brand split, and then all of a sudden he's on SmackDown as the world champion. I don't. There was no build.
They brought him back the first time. I mean, when they brought him back just for enhancement talent, just like Kurt Hawkins and all that.
They built him. There was no build up to it at all. It was just like all of a sudden, wow, here's Jinder Mahal. Next thing you know, he's got the strap. So that I don't get it, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, I mean, bring back the European, do a television championship or something.
I always thought they should have a TV title.
Yeah.
I always...
What do you think about Paige coming back?
Glad to see it. I'm a big fan of Paige, so glad to see it. They're kind of also rejuvenating the women's division, which I'm all for. Women's wrestling has gotten so much better over the last couple of years, but we've had a total of, not including Paige coming back, 6 NXT call-ups?
They were 5 because
5.
I mean, because you had 3 on Raw, but there were 2 of them were from NXT and with Paige.
Yeah, it's just 2 on Raw and then 3 on SmackDown. So good to see new life.
So they must be going full force with some sort of women's segment at least. Or they might even have a show on the network.
They can get rid of 205 Live and replace it with women's wrestling.
Come on, all 12 or 13 people that watch 205 Live would be really heartbroken.
So, I mean, that's the thing.
You just want to put Enzo Amore out of work.
You have a show like Monday, like Raw, that is 3 hours long. They have nothing but all this filler in it anyway. Let the cruiserweights just go on there, just like WCW did back in the day.
Exactly. Give them their own time. I mean, you could build a solid hour over cruiserweight and women's division alone.
The thing is, I think they do have it on. They did have it on Raw, at least for the first part, and you could hear a pin drop in the building.
Yeah, and they still do. I mean, the cruiserweights have 205 Live, and they've also got their Raw segments.
And the best cruiserweight that they had, Neville, just up and left.
Allegedly, he's on his way back.
Supposedly he's supposed to come back, but it's not 100%.
Fuck him.
Wow.
I'm going to say it.
Really feel.
Hey, you fucking walk out because you don't want to lose to somebody?
Well, no, I don't
wasn't that his deal?
I don't know. It was really, there wasn't a whole lot said.
Well, look at it this way. You know what? If that's the case, fuck him.
Yeah, if that is the case.
If you can't do the job,
yeah, that's it. I mean, but it's all kind of hearsay. I don't know if we'll ever
Right.
Know the real story. But switching gears a little bit, some other stuff's been going on. There's been a couple of really good movies that have dropped since the last time we were all together, both comic book related. We've had both Thor for Marvel and Justice League, which I know Jason is chomping at the bit to talk about. So, stage is yours and go.
Oh, you guys saw it too, so please speak up. But I really enjoyed it. I thought the characterization for everybody was really well done. I was very happy to see a Superman on the screen that was very resident of the Superman from the comic books, not kind of doom and gloom Superman. But
I remember going back to the opening scene alone in Justice League. So
where he's smiling, seems enjoys being Superman. Some of the ways they showed him using his powers was really cool in this. And Affleck's Batman, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really like his Batman. Hope we at least get one more out of him. Ezra Miller is the Flash.
Yeah, Flash, for me, stole the show. But, not biased in that opinion either.
This also really has me looking forward. I'm really angry I have to wait a year, but I'm really looking forward to the Aquaman movie.
Yeah, where do you think they fell short in the movie, in the characterization? Probably mostly with Aquaman, I feel.
Yeah, and I think there was some stuff that, got cut or they didn't film due to time. Warner Brothers kind of shot themselves in the foot, I feel, because they were like, hey, we don't want this movie to be over 2 hours.
Right. And that was a really stupid decision
I'm kind of hoping
their part.
I'm kind of hoping maybe we'll get more backstory in the actual Aquaman movie.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, for somebody like me that knows little to nothing about Aquaman.
Because apparently Cyborg had a whole backstory thing that I guess was originally filmed by Snyder, but then was cut.
Well, even in the previews, it's funny because you go back and you watch the first trailers and stuff like that.
Right.
You see a ton of footage that we didn't see. We see him on the football field and doing some other stuff.
Right. So I'm hoping we'll get a Zack Snyder director's cut for the movie. I think there's there's a petition online right now. I think it has 70,000
I did see that.
signatures on it. I would love to see an additional half an hour.
Yeah, I could get
if it's out there.
I could get behind supporting that.
They were talking about an original score to it as well before Warner Brothers brought in Danny Elfman.
I rank it right up there with Wonder Woman, honestly.
No, I know that was one of your favorite parts.
Speaking of, I'll get back to the music here in a second. But just more praise for Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I mean, she's amazing.
She's fantastic.
She captures Wonder Woman like Christopher Reeve captured Superman in those Donner films. It's that's the character. That's the character from the comic just there on the screen.
Right.
You don't go, oh, that's so-and-so playing this character. That's the character.
I just want to come back to it too. You already said, but I love Ben Affleck's Batman. I love the character. I like where we see Batman. It's kind of an older Batman. Life's kind of, he's been Batman for 20 years now.
Yeah.
It's really taken its toll. I am really enjoying Ben Affleck as Batman.
Well, you know what? In addition to Ben Affleck's Batman, let's not forget Jeremy Irons' Alfred,
right? Which complements.
I think
absolutely they work so well together.
I think it's my favorite Alfred, to be honest. I mean,
it's the most hands-on Alfred that we've seen,
right?
So that's kind of cool, and the way they play off each other.
Plus, Jeremy Irons is just pretty much great in anything he does. So,
but there's just so many fun Easter eggs in the movie. But what I was saying about the music was I thought it was great that they brought back the Batman theme from the '89 movie. There was such a well of emotion and just nostalgia that came over me when that played and seeing Batman on the big screen. And the same thing with the Superman theme from '78. It's just great use of music to get if you didn't know what they were. It was just you're like, oh, that sounds nice. If you grew up with it, it just brought back that nostalgia, and it just made you want to get up out of your seat and just cheer.
Right. Oh, and I'd also like to point out that Nathan has pretty much been on his cell phone for the entire conversation about Justice League.
I feel really bad.
So
I have phoned it in. Yeah.
So
he's literally phoning it in over here. So we've kind of monopolized. Nathan, do you have anything you want to?
Well, I think we should touch on Thor before Nathan gets the floor again.
I just had a chance to see that today. I'm ranking it right up there with the first one. I wasn't a big fan of the second Thor movie.
It's okay. No one.
Hold on, you're ranking the third one to the first Thor movie,
Right up there with it. I'm really kind of debating. I want to see this the newest one again, but I'm a sucker for a team up movie. So getting Thor and the Hulk, because I loved the Hulk movie from back in, what was it, 2009?
I can't remember.
The original Hulk movie, and I've been...
No, the original Hulk movie came out
in this incarnation.
Oh, yeah, that was 2008.
Okay, 2008. I've been wanting more Hulk aside from what we've seen in the Avengers movies. So, but no, this one was great.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
But apparently the issue with that is licensing. Agreement that Warner Brothers, sorry, Disney does not own the rights to a standalone Hulk film.
Wow, it's always red tape.
Yeah, so they're not allowed to make one.
But I think we're going to see a nice Hulk arc from what we got in Thor to what we're going to get in the next two Avengers movies.
Right. Well, the past Avengers movie as well.
But I think
Hulk
like
a good bit.
You know, because the Hulk was a little different in this one than we've seen him.
Oh yeah,
previously.
for sure.
So I think taking that take on the Hulk and where it goes from where he's left in the situation that he's left in at the end of Thor and how that progresses through the next two Avengers movies.
Yeah, plus to even find out how he got there to begin with. To where he's at in the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much covered.
Yeah, we'll
run that one. We'll discuss that later.
It's been a while, but
it's been a while. What, like
to
3 hours?
To touch on Thor for me, I think I said it to you the other day, Jason. It's my favorite MCU movie to date. It's right up there, with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. Well, internally, it's very similar to Guardians.
Right, it is, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. Plus, the action.
It does have that.
The action was great. The humor was there. Yeah. I loved it. So Jeff Goldblum, he steals every scene he's in, just like he always does. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. So kudos to them because Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was really great this year as well. So.
I think still for me, my favorite in the Marvel universe is probably some of the Captain America stuff.
Well,
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier is up there.
That's probably my number one.
I really enjoyed Civil War. I enjoyed Civil War.
I enjoyed it more the second time. It was the sleeper the first time for me.
I mean, when it comes to the Cap movies, that Cap Bucky relationship.
If you're going to split the MCU out in favorite trilogies, by far, Cap is my favorite. Iron Man 2 was garbage.
Is that everyone's least favorite?
I
don't know. I have to see Thor 2 again.
Yeah, Thor 2, I don't know. It's between Thor 2, Iron Man 2.
I think those are the two weakest.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk probably is going down the more they put out, but I did enjoy it at the time.
I think it's an underrated movie.
Right.
But yes, it doesn't quite rank up to the ones they're putting out now.
Right.
But I think they both still beat Thor.
So I'm wondering where Black Panther is going to fit in with all this.
Like how so?
Like I'm wondering if I'm going to love it.
Okay, I thought you meant like timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff we've seen from Black Panther looks like it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited about it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll be checking.
I forgot about Spider-Man now in the MCU.
Right.
And that was one of my more favorite MCU movies as well.
Yeah.
It was a good year for them.
Yeah, Marvel's had a great year.
Yeah. So Disney, great year. What a surprise.
Yeah. And they still have Star Wars to
which should blow everything else out of the water.
Right.
We're gonna switch gears a little bit here, Nathan. You had time for
I'm on our Twitter. I'm just gonna plug our Twitter, the _546_ project, and I have it on my phone. And I've seen some just random interesting tweets. We were talking about, you and me, Dan, about how David Cassidy passed.
Yes, a lot of celebrities passed here within the last week and a half.
Vince Russo was one of the people that actually pointed out about David Cassidy's passing, which is kind of random, but So I never had an appreciation for Twitter until I signed us up, our group, for it. Jim Ross has a tweet that says, "I wish someone would invent a cornbread dressing scented candle."
Twitter is the perfect thing. You ever just see people and you hear them talk and you just always think to yourself, wow, what is that guy thinking? What was he thinking when he said that? Go on Twitter, you'll find out. Twitter is such a great outlet.
And they
for that.
just upped the...
Or sharing your dice game on Facebook.
Absolutely. I do that quite often.
They just upped the character count.
Yes.
They doubled it.
You can now do 280 characters.
Really?
It is. Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Donald Trump should enjoy that.
I'm sure he's taking
My
advantage
goodness,
of it.
I've seen a lot of his tweets.
Yeah.
And it's
So
just-
politics end conversation.
Okay, my fault. Sorry.
But
So-
Nathan, I think you had some NASCAR news you wanted to touch on.
Wait, there's news in NASCAR? Please
It's
fill
more,
us in.
It's more or less.
It's more than just it's more than just a left turn, folks.
It's more
Yeah.
more the people that are actually going to leave NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the most popular drivers out there, this was his last full-time year in NASCAR. Kind of a big loss, not performance-wise, because he hasn't really done a whole lot over his career.
Yeah, he
in
hasn't
NASCAR.
raced much in the last year.
Well,
has he?
winning-wise.
Right.
And then Matt Kenseth is going to leave this year too. So, and then the bigger one, not as far as more popularity-wise, Danica Patrick is leaving this year. So it's a big annex of more popular drivers that have been leaving over the years in NASCAR. I know we remember of the NASCAR that we used to watch that was like Mark Martin and
Right. I mean,
I still remember Rusty Wallace racing. So
I remember when Dale Earnhardt,
Yeah.
passed away. But that was your guys' senior year at Daytona.
2001.
Yeah, I remember that. And honestly, I wasn't a Dale Earnhardt fan, as you all know, but it seems like right after that happened, man, my interest really went down around that time.
I think when he hit the wall, that kind of just popped the bubble on
it just had a huge impact even for somebody who
now they
didn't
have
like
all
him
these
at all.
different rules, like they break it up into like segments. Like there's an 80 lap segment, and then they have 3 different segments. And I don't know. To me, I don't really watch it as much, but the drivers whine a lot more, I think.
Right.
Like they got Jimmy Johnson, he wins all the time, and there you go. But Kyle Busch is a big whiner. He's
Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Tony Stewart's out. He's not in it anymore. He still owns the teams, but he doesn't.
Oh,
drive
he
it.
doesn't drive
So
anymore.
there
That
you
shows
go.
you how much I
Exactly.
know. Like, I just don't really follow it as much anymore.
So do you think this is going to hurt viewership? Like,
It's already hurting viewership from what I've read, and I don't think it will be as popular as it once was.
Do you
You
think-
have all these random guys that may have been popular in the Xfinity series, but other fans don't really know a lot about them. They're just there.
Have you been to a NASCAR race?
I've been to an IndyCar race.
went to the
I prefer Indy myself, but I've not been to a NASCAR race.
I went to Dover years ago, and I'll be honest, that was after the whole where I started getting out of it more and more. But it was a great experience. There's nothing like going to a race.
I definitely think it's something more fun live than it is to.
It is.
set
It
up.
is.
It's definitely loud, that's for sure.
Oh,
but
it is.
it's a different experience because you feel it more.
Oh, you literally
Yeah,
feel
you
it
feel
in
it.
your seats.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it just goes up your back. It goes up your spine, man. Just sitting there in the seats, and it's so loud. And
Earplugs
there's
are
100,000
a
people
definite.
there. They're all camping out and set up, and I don't know. It's an amazing experience. To be quite honest. Were we doing a food box for this episode, or are we holding off?
I think
for our
I think
Thanksgiving
we were gonna
episode.
Save it for the
I think we're
Thanksgiving
saving
edition.
it for Thanksgiving.
Okay. So, what else do we have to go over here?
I think we.
I think we pretty
Um,
much covered it this time around. Have we?
Well, I mean, as of last night I finally got to see the movie Blood Diner in the theater down at the Alamo in Winchester.
It really sounds like that Alamo Draft House is a fun experience.
Alamo Draft House is an amazing theater.
Why do they call it a draft house?
They have draft beer.
They have draft beer and everything, and you sit down, and they have these tables that run in front of you. They serve you food and drinks and all that kind of stuff during the movie. But Blood Diner was a great time. It was a great movie-going experience. Movie was freaking hilarious. Anyone who's into weird-ass movies, I highly recommend checking out Blood Diner. So, anyone else? Anything of interest? I don't know. I felt like so much has happened since the last podcast.
Yeah,
I
can't remember when we did the last podcast.
Right.
Honestly, it is.
I mean, I know certain things.
I think it was when we did the Halloween.
Those Halloween.
It was.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
like been like 3 weeks.
We ate all the candy there, so we're good with that.
So we're gonna leave you all without a food box for this podcast.
All we can say is we're gonna make it up the next time.
We'll make it up on our next episode, the Thanksgiving episode. That's something I want to touch on real quick. I just started rewatching Seinfeld recently, and it's something that I was talking to my buddy with, and like why we enjoy the show so much. And Jason, I know we've had the same conversations. Is the fact that it just correlates so well with our lives. Like, the group of people that we, like, hang out with, that's, like, our vernacular, you know? That's how we...
And it holds up well.
It does. It holds up extremely well for a show that started in the late 80s.
Right.
Like, it still resonates today.
There are people that say they don't like the show, but honestly, I think it's those people are the ones that really haven't given it a chance. Because there is somebody in that show, whether it be main cast or just recurring characters, somebody can relate to somebody in that show.
Right. Or, you can relate to all of them.
Yeah.
Right.
They have it pegged right. It truly is a show about nothing. And it's great. It works.
Yeah. So, but
I've said it before with TV. Every so often, there are certain casts that get together and everything just gels.
Yeah.
Everything grooves. It's perfect, and that was one of them.
Seinfeld, Friends, and that 70s show are like 3 comedies that I can just watch pretty much
like I've
anytime.
said, I'm into stuff that's even older, but even shows like Nathan and I have already talked about, like the Golden Girls. I mean, those ladies all just, everybody meshed. Everybody fed off each other really well, and just... It was Friends is another one. I'll agree with you. I wasn't the biggest Friends fan, but it worked. It was just it was a great show.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah.
For this evening. So thank you all for joining us.
You want to plug the various amounts of social media, Nathan?
Well, I touched on Twitter. Yep. We have our Facebook page, the 546 Project, 30 minutes or less. Just search that and you'll find it there. All that stuff that we have.
We also have the Gmail address.
Yeah, the 546project@gmail.com.
And definitely hit us up. I mean, let us know what you think.
I haven't checked it in a while because I figure, nobody's emailing us.
No press is bad press, folks. You like it, you don't like it. If there's stuff you want us to talk about, things you want us to review, hey, we'll do what we can. So definitely feel free to hit us up, and we'll catch you all next time around.
All right.
Have a good and safe holiday.
Thank you. Bye.